Hello dear students, this is Dr. Muhammad Ali. I will be discussing about the experiment, that is the load test of shunt and compound motors. In this experiment we will be mainly concerned about the shunt type of motors, and we will discuss about the compound motors as well. So let us see what is the objective of this experiment. The objective of this experiment is to conduct load test on shunt and compound motors and plot speed versus load and efficiency versus load curves. So let us first of all concentrate on this part, speed versus load curve, and the efficiency versus load curves will follow. So to begin our discussion, let us see the actual experimental setup, not the actual experimental setup, the way we are going to connect our experimental setup. This is our DC motor, okay, that this shaded region, and the title for this configuration is written as circuit diagram for cumulatively compounded motor. Actually, when we perform the experiment, first of all we do the experiment for cumulatively compounded motor, then we do it for differentially compounded motor, and then we do the experiment for shunt motor. As you all know that, and you must have studied in your theory class, that if we are having two windings, the shunt winding and the series winding. If both of these are present in a motor, then it can be either cumulatively compounded motor or it can be a differentially compounded motor. If the flux is adding up, then it becomes a cumulatively compounded motor, and if the flux is cancelling out, then it becomes a differentially compounded motor. And if you remove this series field winding at all and we connect this portion of port A to the port A of the 3-point starter, then it becomes a simple shunt motor, right? The shunt motors are mostly used because they are constant speed motors, and here we are having a 230 volt DC supply that we are getting from the DC generator that is available to us in our laboratory. In the backside of our laboratory there is a DC source, or you can say DC generator, that is generating 230 volt DC supply, and we are having voltmeter ammeter over here to measure the input side voltage and current. And the point of our experiment is this motor basically, okay, which is in our laboratory is a 1450 rpm 20 ampere and 230 volt DC motor, okay. And we can do the loading of this machine in two ways. This is the shaft of the motor, and we can load it using certain kind of belt or some mechanical load. But to do our experiment, what we do is we use an indirect loading method. What we do is we employ a DC generator. This motor will run the DC generator, which in turn will produce electrical energy, and we will provide a resistive load which will be nothing but a lamp load. If we go on turning on the lamps that are connected over here, then what will happen? It will demand more power from this side, right? Now this current that is flowing through the load and this voltage across the load, the multiplication of these two will give us the demand of the load, right? So what we do is we keep this voltage constant, and so what will happen? The load power demand will be directly proportional to the current that is flowing through this path, because we are at each and every reading we are going to keep this voltage constant. How are we going to do that? we are going to make this voltage constant by varying this rheostat. Okay, so in this setup we are having voltmeters and ammeters on the input side, voltmeter and ammeter on the output side or the generator side. We are having this rheostat in the shunt field over here on the motor side. We are having a rheostat in the shunt field on the generator side. The function of this rheostat is to make this voltage constant. Alright, so we will maintain this voltage at 230 volts every time on each and every reading, and as we vary the load, this current will vary. Okay, so what will happen if we are using three types of machines? Let us see simple or we can say that we are just doing a simple discussion on the theory of this experiment. The speed is directly proportional to the V minus IaRa upon flux. Just concentrate on this motor only. So the speed of this motor will be directly proportional to the supply voltage and the IaRa drop, and inversely proportional to the flux. Okay. Now what happens is, if we are, for example, we are using a shunt machine, that means we are not using this series winding, right? So the flux will depend on this winding only, and the voltage across this winding will basically ensure the current in this winding, because we are using this voltage and maintaining this voltage at a constant voltage. Okay, so the flux that is being generated through this winding will be constant. So what will happen if the flux is constant? This is not present. The flux is constant, so the speed will remain constant. Only so the speed actually should be a constant with the change in load. But what happens is, with the increase of load, see over here, if we increase this load, right, that means this current will increase, or we can say the loading effect will come on the shaft of this motor. This again will demand more current in the armature. So as the Ia increases or the armature current increases, IaRa drop increases, right? So this IaRa drop will lead to the drooping characteristic of this shunt motor. Now another thing is that the flux will increase. Why it may increase due to armature reaction, but this drop is much more predominant over this change of flux. So all in all, we will see a droop in this characteristic, a slight droop in this characteristic. Okay, so we can say it is near to a constant speed machine. Okay. Now what happens if we introduce this series winding and the flux is produced such that it aids this flux? That means the flux is increasing. If the flux is increasing, so the denominator is increasing, so speed will reduce. So with the increase in load, we'll see a more drooping characteristic. And thirdly, if we want to have a differentially compounded motor, we will just reverse these terminals, so that the flux, instead of aiding, now it will be subtracting in nature, right? So what will happen? The flux will reduce and the speed will increase with the increase in armature current, because with the increase in armature current over here, the flux of this series feed, because it is in series with the armature, right? So the flux that is being generated by this winding will increase. It will depend on the armature current of this motor. So I hope that you have got the crux of this experiment